I've just been thinking about communication strategies, and I've just encountered a situation in my mind, like a think tank, that how do you maneuver opportunities and situations when you're talking to your customer, like in a friendly way, not on a very formal occasion, but you meet him outside. How do you ask him, or how do you strategize so that that person turns up in your office with a good faith in his mind in terms of business?
Fantastic. Great question.
No rain.
So basically, you're wondering if you met a potential customer, potential client outside, and you want to make sure you convert them into a sale. How do you do that? How do you go about that process? Great question. The number one thing for now I will tell is do not sell in a third party room. Basically, if you meet a customer, a potential client outside in a third party place, first fix an appointment and try to sell in their room or your room, whatever the context is. Sometimes we make the mistake of being at a party, finding a potential client and a customer, and starts doing a sales pitch right then. So the number one thing I would say is first convert them into a seated meeting where the context is set while you're meeting. At the same time, what that does is, if you take the time out, sit with the customer, they think you're taking out time to sit with them and understand their needs, as opposed to when you're in a party and you just meet a potential customer and you start giving advice and start selling, they think subconsciously, he does not even know what I need, he does not have much context, he's just trying to sell. And people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. So the number one thing I would say is get them to a room in which it's okay to sell and avoid the third party selling room. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think that's a great opinion that he shared, but just a continuation question to that. For instance, that you've set up a formal setup in which you can talk about business and the thing that you want to forward with.
Correct.
So how do you think that the other person is going to strategize themselves on what he needs to pitch in from his end? And how do you prepare yourselves that whenever he comes and like you have an impression set on his mind that, look, this guy knows what to speak about and how to deal with this situation, so why not I give him my procurement or whatever business deal that I want to fix in with him? So yeah.
Okay, superb. I think the biggest fear customers have the biggest fear any customer has is they're going to be sold something that they don't need at a price that's too high. That's the biggest fear. So if you go into a meeting and you address those two fears through the process of the meeting. So number one, when you try to understand their needs and then give a matched solution as opposed to just give you a solution, that really changes the game, because they start thinking, okay, this is for me. Because the biggest fear is this is not for me and I'm being sold it, I'm going to buy it. The other thing is the price justification, the negotiation. That is a whole different skill, and maybe there's not enough time to get into that. But I would say if you address that biggest fear, that is to make sure that they know that their needs are understood by you, and then you providing a solution as opposed to going straight into the sale. That's going to change the game.
Also, do you think that in terms of any question or suggestion, like something that you don't understand, and asking your customer that you need to buy in some time for him to reach back to him and regarding his concern, so that you're properly answerable to him, not just give him fake or vague replies in terms of he would think that no, it's not the right thing. Do you think asking that person for some time and buying some time so that you can answer to his question in a very gentle manner and to the point, so that that person said, yeah, this person has taken some time out of it, he has thought over it, he came with a proper strategy and a plan. So do you think as a customer or as a seller, you think asking him or buying some time is a good thing?
That's a great question. So it would depend on the context. If we're talking about high ticket sales, I guess the kind of talk you're saying, it's probably high ticket sales, a lot of investment. For that you must, because it's almost like consulting or a service. If someone is paying $1 lakh, like $100,000 for a product, it's very high ticket. So you got to almost give them that consulting feel. But if you're selling a 10 rupee product, you probably don't have time to go back, otherwise you lose the sale. So if you have a high ticket sale, then that for sure is a great way to go, because your customer is probably more informed. They will put a lot of their brains in the buying decision as opposed to buying a 10 rupee or a $10 product.
Makes sense. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Naren. Thank you for your
Thanks. I hope that helped.